875. It's one of the best espresso machines out there. It used to cost like $1,600.
We are going live.
Okay.
No, Jörn, I'll give you when we have 10 seconds left, I'll give you the hand.
Thank you.
Okay, so you start in 10 seconds, so I'll mute myself.
Hello and welcome to this afternoon panel here at the Nextv Series Europe and CEE conference. We have a great panel and great panelists and quite an important topic in the following 45 minutes to discuss. It's how to tap in the full smart TV potential. And as we all know, smart TV is one of the hottest topics. It has actually been for a couple of years with most households, actually in some countries, the vast majority of households owning smart TVs now. And there are great things you can do with them once you hook them up to the internet. There's far more than just television. And what you can do with them and how to get the most out of your smart TV is something we'll discuss today with our three panelists. We have Armand Claudel, Content Marketing Manager for TV and OTT from Samsung Electronics in France. Hello, Armand.
Hello.
We have Gerald Zankl, Director of Inside Sales at Bitmovin. Hello to
Hello,
Ostir.
everyone. Yeah, hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Great, thanks for joining us. And thanks for joining us, Denis Ostir, Director of Global Business Development from Vidaa. Hello.
Hello, ni hao, and hi, and grüße.
Where are you based, Denis?
I'm actually based in Slovenia.
Oh, great. This is a nice international panel and three important markets, including CE, obviously. It's part of this conference. And I'm sure we get some interesting insights to make sure that we are kind of all on the same level regarding your companies, your backgrounds, your activities. I would like you to first give us a quick guide through your role in the smart TV business, your area, and your position. Armand, let's start with you.
Hi, everyone. So thank you very much for having me on board today. I'm very excited to speak about this smart TV market, which is absolutely growing and especially more during this pandemic. So wanted to speak about what we're doing at Samsung. So I'm in charge of smart TV content and marketing for the French market. So my real goal is to market all the great content we have and we offer to the customers in France.
Okay, and where's Samsung Electronics positioned in the French smart TV market? Are you the biggest, one of the biggest players? What are your sales figures, your market position? Can you say something?
Yes, I mean, I can speak about France and Europe. So Samsung is a leader for TV since 13 years. So this is on a global level, on a European level, and on a French level. For the smart TV market, Samsung has a position in Europe around, I would say, 30%. Of course, it depends market from market because Europe is a very fragmented market. Nevertheless, so we are an industry leader for smart TV, and we work, of course, to contribute to the growth of smart TV in Europe. So we will talk about that later, about all the different touch points and features that we offer to develop this great smart TV offer.
Let's stay on the manufacturer side. Denis, I'm going to go straight to you. Obviously, with the Hisense background, you come from the manufacturer area, but Vidaa is, of course, more than just the manufacturer side of the business.
Yeah, so thank you very much for having me. Vidaa is the software arm of Hisense, let's put it this way. So we are the platform that runs on most Hisense devices. Hisense is a historic brand. We've been out there in the market for over 50 years, number 3, number 4 globally, depending on the year. By far the largest manufacturer in China, have been the number 1 in China for the last 13 years. And Vidaa is an independent arm. We've been spun off about a year and a half ago from the business when we realized that what we're going to be talking about today is going to be a key business driver moving forward, meaning having a platform of your own. We've had the platform since 2014, similar to what we've got in China, where we've got a platform called Juhaokan. And the platform is now being developed, rolled out globally. We are present in 155 countries. We support all of those. And my role inside of the organization, I'm the Global Business Development Director. And I also specialize in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, just because I'm based here. And before that, I've got a media background, worked in the TV business and the TV industry for 20 years. Mostly in, I would say, in broadcasting and also some in the digital towards the end of my career. That's what we do.
Vidaa is something like the front end. Is it what people see when they switch on the TV set, the services, the content?
Yeah, exactly. We are the operating system that runs on smart TVs, on Hisense devices, also on Toshiba devices where Hisense has the license, on a lot of OEM devices that Hisense manufactures, and we also have international partnerships with board manufacturers. So the offer Vidaa is one of the solutions on the platform. Just like you would be, using an AOSP platform, you would be using Android TV. You can also use Vidaa as an operating system. It's quite advanced, and we've got the offering of most global and local applications on the platform. We've also have smart capabilities, and we are the OS that runs on TVs. Just like colleague Armand would have Tizen running on Samsung devices, we've got Vidaa running on ours.
Okay, that's a great explanation. So I think everyone really understood now, and this is good for following up on this discussion. Gerald, you come from a different side of the industry, but still within the smart TV environment. Could you please quickly explain the role of Bitmovin, what you're doing, and your position in the smart TV market?
Absolutely. So again, thanks for having me and welcome everyone. Bitmovin powers really the world's largest OTT streaming service providers. And obviously, smart TVs is one really big part of that, but it's even more than only smart TVs. What Bitmovin offers and what we offer for our customers is improving their viewer experience, reducing time to market, and also operational optimization. What does this mean? When we look into smart TVs, for example, a vital part of smart TVs is that the video playback runs smoothly. And Bitmovin offers a video player, but not only for smart TVs, for all kinds of devices and platforms, because the fragmentation, I will talk later about it, is becoming more and more. So the market is becoming more and more fragmented, not only on the smart TV side of things. In addition, compared to also my colleagues, we are under the hood. What does this mean? We also offer cloud encoding services and managed encoding, as well as Cloud Connect services to build videos, to encode videos and make them available also on all the devices and platforms. And one additional really important part is analytics. We see also what kind of quality is needed, what kind of quality do the users see out there. So these are really the 3 main areas where we are focused on. My role at Bitmovin right now is I'm the director of inside sales. I joined Bitmovin already 6 years ago and worked also together with leading broadcasters like RTL, for example, in the CEE region, to mention one. And we are helping broadcasters, publishers to bring their videos to every device and every platform.
Okay, so you're basically making sure that you're invisible, because if there's a great quality of service, if there's a great user experience, people have nothing to complain about. And you as a B2B company, that's the best it can be, because as usual, technology has to stay in the background. People are looking for content and quality of service and the great user experience, to put it in my kind of explanatory words. Let us quickly focus on the development of the smart TV market. Obviously, I've said in the beginning, it's much of a growth market. I believe that the crisis situation we're in this year has kind of gained momentum or brought more momentum to this development. Is this something you can follow in France and you can experience in Europe as well?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, both on usage and on TV sales, which was a surprise to be honest. So I would speak about both. At Samsung, we have a solution to monitor usage in Europe, and we do white papers from time to time. So we did one for the pandemic, and we shared it with our partners through Samsung Ads, which is a company within Samsung. We showed that in Europe, the pandemic increased, so the lockdown, which was March, April, June, increased the usage by around 30 to up to 40% on Samsung TVs. And in Euro 5, the actually OTT usage, so streaming usage on the TV, was even higher on smart TV devices from Samsung than the linear TV usage. So it was a big shock for us how quickly and strong this pandemic increased the streaming usage. So definitely the impact is massive, and it's still very high. Should it be on streaming, by the way, but also on gaming? And I think with the recent announcement, it's going to be even higher, but that's another topic. And this said, yeah, I want to speak about the sales and speak about the market, because as you know, the TV market is kind of a flat market since a few years now, unfortunately for our business. And this year has been absolutely crazy, because we have seen a growth of around, so I'm speaking of France here because I do have the number for France, but I guess they're pretty much the same in Europe, at least in the Euro 5. We've seen a growth up to plus 17% if you look on the full year, so year to date. So it means that even during the lockdown, the market was almost flat. And when the stores reopen by end of summer, then you had a massive growth of sales, and people are very looking to equip themselves because they understood that their TVs, maybe not because it's the first hobby for consumers right now. So the consumers are really looking to change their TV to get the new connected screens. And of course, smart TV has dramatically increased its sales, because this is the major point of growth in the total market of the TV. And it's almost now, I would say, in France, it's more than 3 TV out of 4 which are connected TVs. So it's definitely massive right now.
Yeah, I can confirm that for Germany, the latest figures have been out and it's the same. So we can really say that the crisis has made people upgrade their households to buy the latest TV set, obviously a connected TV set, a smart TV set, the latest devices. And that's been triggered by growing amount of streaming, OTT usage, gaming, as you say, we shouldn't forget gaming. That's the kind of activities that people spend their time with, the more time they had than usual. That is actually good news for Vidaa, Denis, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good news. I mean, I have to confirm what Armand is saying. We've seen exactly the same thing. We're seeing usage go up dramatically. As I've said, I might have a little bit more data for global markets as well. We're seeing connectivity for markets where you might not expect that. For instance, African markets, which, by the way, had a huge problem. You know, the main problem in African markets was the cost of data. And even there, you know, operators went towards towards users. They, you know, increased the volumes and increased the volumes of data that are included in their packages. By the way, I don't know if you know, but in Africa, there's actually limitations on data on your fixed line as well. So they actually reduced those. They've changed them up, and streaming has been through the roof. You know, those markets, MENA, APAC, for instance, as well, Sub-Saharan Africa. We're talking, you know, 30% is the low end. We're talking 70, 80, even 150% more usage in those markets. You know, pretty much all devices that have been sold are connected. People understand where things are going. What I would maybe point out here is that what we are seeing is a transition to OTT with players that have been maybe reluctant in the past to go to the OTT. Now everyone's pushing into this OTT space.
Yeah.
It is creating fragmentation. It's creating a little bit of what we could call a sort of a choice of no choice for the end consumer. There's just too many of these streaming services popping up. They're trying to carry over business models from one to another, which is again causing a little bit of a confusion and a little bit of a problem, which is something that we maybe can address later on. But we're seeing the same thing. Like in some markets in EU, of course, we are a little bit smaller. Hisense's Vidaa OS is smaller than the Samsung, of course. So the growth is bigger. I mean, we see bigger variations. And what is interesting maybe to note is that even though 2020 was supposed to be the year of the Euro, which we are a major sponsor of, and we were planning to be quite aggressive. In some markets,
football championship.
Yeah, we are actually exceeding the sales that we planned with Euro just because of the pandemic. Yeah. And the main bottleneck right now was not factories, it was mainly delivery. How to get as many TVs out there as have been requested. And I guess, Armand, you can confirm that as well. The main problem was just, logistics of how do you get TVs out to the people, because all the online retailers were overbooked, the companies doing deliveries were overbooked. That was the main thing. But it's a very good time to be in this industry, and we're also seeing it. That partners are coming to us as well, trying to integrate content and so on. It's a cool thing. It's a cool time.
It's certainly an interesting, exciting industry to work in this year more than ever, and it's growing. Let's focus on the consumer side. And I'd like to stay with you, Denis, for a moment, because obviously you must have some data in what the consumers are interested in when they've now bought their great new connected TV set. What are they looking for? What kind of content are they actually using? Is it just classic broadcast TV, or is it more going towards the OTT world with apps, with non-linear content, streamed content, the Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, and what's the kind of role of local services, because you have insight from all the local markets. What kind of role do local apps and services, content play?
So what we're seeing right now is most people are looking for VOD content. Of course, linear is growing, but video on demand is the name of the game, mainly because of two players. We know one, and we know the other one. So it's Netflix and YouTube. That is where the core of the VOD that is where the core of the consumption comes from. But you're making a very important point, and that is local content consumption. Now it's very interesting to see this. Is on the VOD, people are going for global apps, which by the way are slowly losing their traction. But when it comes to linear consumption, and when it comes to just using cable or watching IPTV, 80% of it is local. It's sort of an interesting difference between the two, but they are coming together. They're definitely coming together. We see more and more people going to local OTT as well. The key here is discoverability. For us, it is extremely important that people find content. And that is why everyone in this business is focusing on. Let's get people to find where the content is. Just putting them in silos is not the way forward. And if we allow for that, people are going to use more local applications. But we are still at a stage where people on average only use 3.5, maybe 4 applications. And we got to change that. This is something that is coming. It will definitely expand, but it's only going to expand if people are able to find it. Putting it inside of a silo where no one knows what is inside of it is going to be a very, very difficult thing. So universal searches and stuff and recommendations, those are the type of things that people are looking for on a platform.
I'm sure that is something where Gerald can jump in. With the user interfaces, the recommendation engines, ways to find the content you're looking for. What's the kind of role that this is playing in the overall user experience?
So let me first on user experience. What is really nice also for the industry here and for all OTT services out there, as it was mentioned, right, plus 17% in sales in smart TVs. So looking on the user experience, one really, really big challenge, not only on the smart TVs, but especially on smart TVs, is reaching all the devices out there. So also Disney Plus, Netflix, for example, they have certain recommendation for smart TVs, what they recommend that the service works really, really smoothly. From the customer base also, what we know, when customers developing players, they have, for example, different players for different device types, like a player for smart TV, a player for Android, a player for Apple, whatever it is, right? Different players for different devices. And this fragmentation is really, really hard to manage, especially if you are having in-house development teams developing for every individual device or platform a player. And to maintain here a really good quality, a really good user experience is something which is getting harder and harder. That's what we have seen as the market is becoming more and more fragmented. And to echo also my colleagues here, we have seen the same thing, right? We have seen during the pandemic going the video plays up by more than 100%, seeing the time watched even more than 200%. And the really, really interesting part, and this is also something echoing smart TVs, the downloaded data was increased by over 300%. That means that also users were demanding better quality because they had the bigger screens, right? And so for the companies out there, an even more important question arises, besides the user experience, obviously, but how can they maintain a certain quality with certain costs? And this is really a question as well, which we are asking ourselves, what can we do here to improve? And this is some question a lot of people also ask themselves and a lot of companies.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned the main challenges already with the different video players, the quality of service, and obviously the cost element. So let's put it this way: if I was a video or a telco company, and I was approaching you, telling you with all the experience and contacts you have, big names on your list, what's the kind of top 3 things you would recommend me before I start entering the OTT world from this background? So yeah. What's the sort of guidelines you would give me?
So one thing which I want to highlight again is fragmentation leads really most of the time to frustration. So fragmentation leads to frustration. And looking into what is your customer base? What are your customers? On which devices are they? And also on which smart TVs are they? If you have an analytics service in place, which can tell you that that's great, that you know exactly these are the services we have. And also looking into what kind of quality are the consumers are demanding. And this would be the first thing. So start with analyzing where you are right now. And the analysis should start with what are your customers? Where are the consumers? What we have also seen, especially over the last couple of months, so COVID is really an accelerator for the whole digitalization, but obviously also for, as we heard, for smart TV sales, for the whole video streaming industry. So what usually happens in a couple of years happened in a couple of months now, the last couple of months. And this is something where I would really look into. So this analyzes really first, where are the consumers, where are the customers, and what devices are they using? The nice thing is here, with this new smart TVs coming in, it's getting easier and easier to reach them because the new smart TVs, it's getting easier to stream to them or to get videos played. But also consider that a smartphone, you change, for example, every 2 to 3 years. Means every 2 to 3 years, you get a new smartphone. So the lifetime of a smartphone is a way shorter than the lifetime of a smart TV, because the smart TV is twice that time, so 6 to 7 years probably decreased, and probably my colleagues have here more details, but that's what I have seen, and that's what the statistics here say, that you have a smart TV 6 years in average. So if you are streaming content, which is more for young people, innovative people who are exchanging their smart TVs probably every 2 years, there could be a different strategy than when you are streaming towards people who don't exchange their smart TVs every 2 years, right? And that's what I would look in here. Analytics, where are my consumers, to then pick the right strategy and also pick a partner to get towards the smart TVs.
I think that's some real useful advice. Denis?
Can I just jump in a very quick one? As I think one thing that is very important here is an advice that I would give if I were in Gerald's shoes. There's one thing that I would first ask everyone is, are you sure you know how to do it? That is the very important one, because right now everyone is jumping into the OTT space. Everyone sees that OTT is an opportunity. Everyone wants to jump into it, but especially looking at the US, it's becoming so saturated with various OTT players out there. are you sure you know the business model? Are you sure you know the business? Are you sure? Of course, distribution is very important, but at the same time, is this really something that is becoming, is something that you're going all in? Because we see that cable companies, we see that IPTV providers, they've got a problem. Of course, they got a problem because the price of services is going down. They want to get into content, but it requires a very, very, very thought through strategy for someone like that.
Yeah.
To create an opportunity like that, especially in the landscape that we have right now.
It's a very crowded market. I can see that both from my perspective as a journalist, because I report about new things, new developments, and in my role as a consumer. There is virtually a new AVOD service popping up each day now, and they all have great content, and they tell you about the great content. I mean, who on earth has got all this time to watch this, even install these apps on your system? Armand, what's your position on this?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for raising this subject, because I think we are at the core of our discussion here. In France, we are very set-top box country oriented, as you know, very strong ISPs. Maybe the most equipped for TV set-top box, among Euro 5. And what we've seen right now, and it's very interesting, is we have a use case with Brig, which launched with us, Samsung, a completely OTT solution for their set-top box on Samsung TV. And I think what we are talking here is about business opportunity for more, and that's precisely the point Gerald was talking about, for maybe connection solution to customers, so selling fiber to customers. Because if we want to sell, of course, big TVs, big screens, equip the households with like those solutions, of course we need, this is the very basic, the fiber to be implemented everywhere. And what we've seen at Samsung and Bouygues Telecom, which is our partner with this solution, is that first, the commercial success is okay, interesting, of course, but also the story behind really makes sense, because the customers, they don't have a set-top box, so it's easier for them. It makes sense for the telco, because it doesn't have to build those set-top boxes, and also the cost to develop an app is much reduced, and also it can still have the connection to his customer, which is part of the ecosystem. Now Bouygues is part of our ecosystem, and the customer will find out his Bouygues Telecom subscriptions directly on his TV without a second box, and this is where maybe there's a business opportunity, for it's this complicated market, very fragmented with American giants, and of course it's hard to find where to stand when you are in the middle of that.
The fragmentation of the market is something I'd like to stay. But Gerald, please, if you want to.
Just one comment on that. I really love that statement here from both of you, because what we also see, what is one of the major, and we are doing every year our video developer report, where over 700 people are participating and giving us feedback here how they see the market. And what we have also seen, that controlling costs is one of the main topics, right? But if you want to control costs at the one hand side and maintain the same user experience, and with the big screens again, and with delivering a really good quality, this is really the challenge also for everyone. And looking into that, into how can you be more efficient on the content preparation, on the encoding part, is also one thing which I highly recommend to look into. What can you really do to stream efficiently? Like you said, we need more fiber. Yeah, I'm 100% on that, but also looking in what can I do as a streaming provider to reduce the data to the smart TVs.
Reduction is a good statement. We've been talking about the fragmentation of the market and about the complexity of the market. I would like to address the role as a manufacturer. Do you see yourself as a content aggregator who assemble as much interesting creative content on your platform as possible to make it easier for the consumer to navigate through the desired apps and services? Or do you also jump in with your own content? Let's say Samsung TV Plus, Vidaa Free are services offered under your own brand. And so what's your strategy there in the question of being an aggregator and delivering your own content? Denis. first, and then Armand.
Yeah, I just like to point out one thing. Like Vidaa Free is we're not actually aggregating. We're not licensing content. Vidaa Free is purely a way of presenting the content to our users in a more user-friendly way. We've got the same type of a linear channel experience as well. So I think it's for us, it's very straightforward. With us, we are only a platform. So for us, we want to make sure that the user experience is the best. We're not really aggregating content. We're not really licensing content, but we're making sure that the exposure to the content on the platform is the best it can be. And I'll go back to a point I made earlier. Is on average, people use 3.5 applications per TV, 3.5 content providers per TV, mostly because it's too big of a hustle. I use the remote control, I use the direct access button, I watch a service I know, and that's it. People don't know what is inside hiding in those 5,000 applications that are on smart TVs. Now, what we are trying to do with Vidaa Free and with the user experience, with content carousels that we've got in the main launcher, is to make sure that we are exposing the content towards the user, to making, to change over the paradox of choice, to make sure that people know when their favorite football team is playing a game. They don't know what service that game is going to be on. They don't care about the service. They care about their own team. And this is becoming vitally important. And this is where we have a very strict policy. For us, we don't want to compete with our CSPs. I don't want to be bidding for the same match as one of my partners or two of my partners. I don't want to be bidding for the same movie. For me, I just want to be I want to be the enabler that brings these partners to the smart home. That is a very important one for us.
Yeah, I think that's something really important. The consumer doesn't look for a specific app, service, brand. They're looking for a specific type of content, whether it's a movie, an actor, a series,
Jörn,
or a
which
sports
which by the way is horrible. If you're a CSP, you're like, oh my God, this is, we've been working on our brands for like 50 years.
Yeah, I
and
know.
Now someone is telling us, but honestly, people want, kids want to watch cartoons. They want to watch Cinderella.
Yeah.
Where it's coming from, they don't care.
That's true. I mean, big, strong brands obviously help, whether it's TV sales or selling content with Disney. I mean, you can't really challenge that. It helps because it's kind of a guideline. Disney is kind of quality of the content that it guarantees you. But apart from that, and also quality, if you're talking about LG, Panasonic, Hisense, Samsung, and so on. But apart from that, the consumer wants a specific, something to make their lives easier. Let's put it this way, less complex. So Armand, what's your strategy for Samsung in France regarding the aggregator role, the content role? Where do you position yourself there?
So yeah, thank you. So actually, indeed, we see ourselves, and this is very clear to our partners. We see ourselves as a content aggregator. So we don't edit content. We distribute content partners on our platform, and this is very appreciated by all the content partners in the world, because we have a clear direction. And this is why partners like Apple TV choose to launch in exclusivity last year Apple TV and now Apple Music on our platform, because they see Samsung as a very agnostic universe, Tizen as a very agnostic OS, where they could launch their own solutions and not having internal competition from Samsung. So this is very clear, and this is where we stand. Of course, we do include also metadata agreements with our partners, so we can show all the contents from all the partners on Universal Guide, which is the place on Samsung TV where you can find and discover and search and use voice control for Hey Google and Alexa and even Bixby, which is the home voice control solution, to search your own content. But on top of that, we've launched a new service, which is not an aggregator platform, which is called TV Plus. It's really a AVOD platform, and basically the offer is very clear. It's adding new OTT channels to your DTT channels. So as a consumer, I install my TV, and when I connect my TV to the internet, which is around 95% of customers in France, a very, very high number, I receive those new channels for free on my TV. And this is where TV Plus stands for. So we have more than 80 channels in Europe, and most of them are local channels, because we are a very strong group in Europe. Of course, we have local teams as me and other people in France working to do deals with all those local partners that create very valuable contents for French customers. So of course the content is in French, and we deliver it to the home on top of the DTT channel. So it's a very new service that we launched around maybe 9 months ago now, and it's already booming because we very carefully choose the content, and we have someone dedicated in France and in all the European countries working to do these partnership deals with each of these content providers. And the deal here is to do things locally, not to do on a European scale, because Europe is very, very fragmented.
Yeah, definitely. The local component is a very important factor for success in this business. Armand, you said earlier that the French market is very much known for its set-top box world and universe, to put it this way. That's a contrast to lots of other European countries or even worldwide. That there are so many set-top boxes in between the content and the TV set. Gerald, what do you see? What do you see in a set-top box? Is that when somebody approaches you and says, yes, I want to go OTT, is the set-top box something that makes it more difficult, or maybe even easier? Because I've heard both in the past.
Yeah, and I would say it depends, right? So yes and no. It can
as usual, it depends.
Yeah, I would say it depends. Obviously, on what set-top box do you have? How old is the set-top box? What operating system is on the set-top box? What can be deployed on the set-top box in terms of the players? So this is really the big question. What is the set-top box about? And then we can look into here what player strategy would work, what player can be deployed here on the set-top box to really bring the content towards the end consumer. Okay, so it's a specific question.
Can I
please go ahead? Yes, I wanted to address you anyway, but please continue.
I wanted just to maybe elaborate on that one. I think, Gerald, I completely agree. It's like it all depends on what infrastructure you've got. But I think more importantly, I think everyone here agrees that we are moving forwards towards let's call it a set-top box-less experience.
Yeah, that's 100%
honestly,
true.
There is no point in duplicating it. It's like very simple. It's like if I had a laptop and I came home and I connected my laptop to a desktop computer to use the capacity of both on my screen. There's no point in it. A TV inside of it has a very capable SoC, a lot of RAM, a very good operating system on it. There's no point in duplicating and creating a box which you connect onto the TV and you launch it. Now, the problem that we've got there is the change of control. If it's just an integrated TV with an operating system that is being controlled by the manufacturer, or Vidaa in this case, or in Tyson's case, Samsung, the person that had the set-top box sort of loses the direct interaction with the end consumer, which is a big problem for them. What we are seeing globally, you've probably heard the news from the US, is Comcast is developing their own TV. They want to put their own operating system on the TV. That is maybe a way forward. Maybe that's an option. We've seen what Roku did in the US. So I'm pretty confident that we're going to go to let's call it a set-top box-less experience. We're seeing a case in Germany where Jörn, you are from, which one of the operators, the big one, the pink one, is doing an experiment of that sort. Armand was explaining what we is doing. We are going along that way for sure. We have a few of those projects on hand as well. The key there is just make sure that we take care of the user. It's all about him. He needs a laid-back experience, the simplest one for him. He buys a TV, sticks it on a wall, and he wants to watch it.
And it's the old dream come true of having just one remote control. Finally, we're there.
No, I mean, even though we are there already with the CEC, but over HDMI, so that's not a problem. But overall, it's just about the experience. It's just, just the TV's got a 4-core or 8-core processor in it. It's got enough RAM. It can run anything.
But Armand,
to echo Denis
Gerald,
here
please,
on that statement, absolutely. And also with the new television manufacturer, new operating systems, some old versions of set-top boxes go away, but some new ones come in, right? And I think as well with more power here to render and more power in the smart TVs, it's getting easier to get the best user experience towards the customer. And if still operators have the set-top boxes, if they are used to it and they want to reach something, they have to think of, are we in which direction we are going? So it's really a strategy direction as well, more probably first on the strategy side of things, and then looking into what technology brings you easiest to the customer in a good and easy way.
Yeah, that puts it to the point. Armand, you've told us there are so many set-top boxes still in France in use, a bit unique in Europe. We've just heard that there is basically, because the smart TVs are so developed and enhanced and advanced now, that they basically incorporate a set-top box more or less. We don't need a physical box any longer. But where does that leave France, where you still have all these boxes in the market? I mean, that's historically because the telcos were the ones placing them in the households based on their ADSL infrastructure. So France is still very much, and for you who don't know it, an ADSL and DTT country, in contrast to lots of other markets. And that, of course, historically has required a box. So what's the development now in France? And if you look into the future, where are we going now?
Okay,
Armand.
very good point. It's something we're working on a lot right now in France with all the ISPs, to be clear. And it's definitely a subject. I mean, everybody is thinking about it because it's going to come very quickly, and because there's been one ISP that did a move on it, Bouygues. Now, it's like the big focus for everyone. And I think the leading country is actually not France. It's neither Germany, neither UK. It's actually Spain. I mean, in Spain, it's been like almost 5 years. All the ISPs are doing OTT solutions. Started, I think, with Orange, Movistar. I mean, they're all working on this, and it's now millions of users which are buying their TV into the telecom stores with a triple play contract. I mean, this is definitely where we're going. The ISPs, the telco, will not be disrupted. They are very strong. They are providing you internet to your households. They are providing you pay TV for most of them, and definitely they are. I mean, they have a huge number of stores into the country. A lot of people that goes inside the customer homes to install, fiber and set-top box and even TVs. So definitely they will be the game changers, and we technological manufacturers have to work together with them and to provide, the easiest way to do great deals and to just remove this external box, which, as you say, doesn't make sense because we've got it already in the TV. But just find the right business model, and everybody is going to win out of it, because you're going to have fiber to the homes, you're going to have 4K content to distribute, and everybody will be happy. It's a growing market.
Can I just give you an example from my country? I come from Slovenia. People often don't think of Slovenia as a technology hub or a very, very advanced country. But honestly, 3 out of 4 ISPs already have a solution like that on pretty much on all TVs. So they're available there. I would point out another country, and that's Ukraine. In Ukraine, right now, nobody buys a set-top box anymore. You've got 2 large players. One is Kyivstar, the other one is Volya. Both of them have applications on pretty much all smart TVs, and they have the exact same user experience. So it is something that is going on globally. Definitely a place where we are going. And honestly, Western Europe is slightly lagging behind when it comes to that. Even in South Africa, we see DSTV migrating towards that. We're seeing it in the Middle East, where OSN is migrating towards that. So Eastern Europe is lagging behind. But why? Very simply, is because of everyone getting everything for free. In Western Europe, we've been getting amazing content free over the air, utilizing HGTV to get some very good OTT stuff as well. And an investment into something like that represents quite a large investment, and it actually increases the cost. If in Germany right now I can get 40 channels for free over satellite in HD, why would I take a telecommunications provider solution, get honestly a slightly lesser quality signal, and pay for it? It's going to take a little bit of time, but I agree, Armand, with you. We're definitely going that way in Western Europe as well.
Yeah, so it's once again down to the local markets, where you have to find the solutions and the responses to the questions. One last thing, and this brings us to the end. I'd like to look into the future in the next 5 years. We've been talking about the future a lot, but put it in a more strict manner. 5 years from now, where will we be, Gerald?
So when you look at it, and what we, for example, also see in Austria, that leading publishers, for example, use the smart TV to bring live services on the smart TV, right? And when you look back here, this was something which a couple of years was only done by the local broadcaster, that they had the possibility to broadcast about news live. Now, also publishers, for example, to mention one example here in Austria, built up their own live production studios and stream it really to the smart TVs.
So the
in
market
5
is
years,
growing.
Exactly. So I see also market even growing more content is coming. The big challenge is obviously with personalization of the content. How can you access the content easily, aggregating the content and finding the content which is the right one for the consumer at the end. This is what I see here in
content discovery playing an important and rising role. Armand, can you echo that, or do you add other elements?
I mean, for me, so of course, everything's going to grow, and this for sure, and there'll be massive disruption into the old model, and everybody has to be ready because it's coming very, very fast. One thing we haven't talked about, but something we provide on Samsung TV already since 2 years in Europe, is segmented advertising. We have a platform called Samsung Ads, and I mean, this is the kind of direction that's going to even be the next step, which is really advertising push to the right consumer at the right time to consume the right content. And this is already a reality on our TVs, and it's gonna be very, very big, all linked of course with AVOD, which is of course the next thing, and we've talked about it already. And still big content partners providing contents on our TVs.
Yeah, important things to add, definitely targeted advertising and addressable TV and AVOD. Denis, famous last words.
Ooh, amazing. Very quick. I'm going to go completely off topic here. I think in 5 years, we're not going to have this discussion anymore. I think right now we're talking about content, we're talking about AVOD, we're talking about SVOD, we're talking about TVOD. In 5 years, we're not going to be talking about any of that. We're mostly going to be talking about services on a smart TV. We're going to be talking about the future connected home, because I have a very, very strong feeling, and this is a strategy that we're pursuing, is understanding one thing. The TV has the most important spot in the person's room, by far. In the living room, on a wall, and it's staying there for approximately 6.5 years. It's going to become the hub of the future connected home, where I'm going to buy pizza, where I'm going to get health insurance, where I'm going to get a checkup from the doctor. It's going to become the future of the connected home. And services like VOD, AVOD, SVOD are going to become completely irrelevant. They're going to become a commodity and only a very small portion of what I'll be doing on my smart TV. And it's going to happen very, very fast.
Thank you very much. A great outlook. We've really managed to cover everything in these 45-minute talk. And this reaches the end now. I'm very thankful for having you, and say thank you to Denis from Vidaa, Gerald from Bitmovin, and Armand from Samsung Electronics in France. Thank you very much. Have a good day. See you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.